Space Telescope, is a spy satellite that's been adopted for viewing out. Most spy satellites look back on Earth. So it's designed specifically to carry these keyhole 12 satellites, that's what they're called. When they first flew the space shuttle with these opening doors, and because they had to launch them, they would launch them up, away from Earth. The space shuttle was in the full force of the sun. It heated it up so much they couldn't shut the doors again, it expanded.
Exactly.
That's why the space shuttle always flies, if you like, upside down, so it's pointing towards Earth, so the doors are not in sunlight when they try to close them.
Exactly.
Because the heat can have quite a serious effect.
Okay, back to the moon landing.
Yeah.
You obviously have certain signs which you can point to to make out that the broadcasted moon landing seen on television is fake.
Yeah.
Can you show them?
Well,
and tell something about it.
Okay, for a start, it wasn't live, the moon landing. Yeah, we just one key point, we need to have a look at the camera that was used to take the photographs. This is the Hasselblad camera, and the key point to know about this, it has no viewfinder, it has no exposure meter. You control the aperture, shutter and focus rings with your hand, manually, using a spacesuit which has armoured gauntlets. And we'll look at the photographs this wonderful camera, it's a very good camera. You can't hear the shutter in space because they took the mirror out because there's no viewfinder. It's a single lens reflex camera. And it was operated by batteries, 2 little torch batteries, which don't operate under those temperature extremes.
Okay.
They will tend to discharge because it's not in sunlight, it's in shadow. This camera, this is the top of the camera we're looking at here. You can see the controls, but you have no viewfinder. The viewfinder on a Hasselblad is normally on the top of the camera, it's not on the camera on the spacecraft. This is the inside of the lunar module as it lands, and as it lands, Neil Armstrong gets out. He's first out, and he photographs Aldrin coming down the ladder. Now there's a sequence here, and this is for the photographers to look at. And this is my explanation of what happened.
Yeah.
It's a series of 8 photographs taken consecutively. Each photograph follows the other. There's nothing in between them. There's no bracketing of exposure. Every photograph is correctly composed, correctly focused, and accurately shot. Right, this is the first one. This is the second one where Armstrong has moved his position slightly. He's had to refocus. He gets bored watching Aldrin come down, so he takes a photograph of the underneath of the lander. Another one of the underneath of the lander. Yeah, you've got to change the focus, change the exposure, change the composition. Aldrin's coming down a bit more. We'll get another photograph of him as he comes back. Aldrin comes down the ladder. Another picture, gets to the end of the ladder, jumps off, and there he is. Now those are the 8 photographs in sequence. There they are, 1, 2, 3 to 8. This is not a logical sequence of photographs of an event which has extreme importance. First, man on the moon. You photograph somebody coming down a ladder and you get bored watching him, so you take a photograph of something completely different. It doesn't make sense. The photographs are well composed, well exposed, correctly composed. How?
Under such circumstances.
Yeah, under the circumstances, which are extreme. These guys, if they were on the moon, could have died at any minute.
But the first thing you mentioned about this camera and this batteries, that's already also actually quite a convincing argument to say that they haven't been there, because, as I understood it properly, batteries of those cameras couldn't work there under those conditions because they would discharge.
I think most people would agree with you that batteries are quite good, but they don't operate under extreme conditions very well.
Exactly.
It's very cold, they tend to stop working. It's very hot, they tend to stop working.
Okay.
These are extreme conditions, but these were Vata batteries made in Germany. The Hasselblad was made in Sweden. very good camera. I've used them. They're hard to use, but they can produce very good results. So these 8 photographs were taken in sequence. Any photographer will tell you that if you're going to go to a place you've never been to before, using equipment that is reliable, but you want to be sure to get a good result, you bracket the exposures. You take lots and lots and lots and lots of pictures. NASA didn't have a problem in buying photographic film. They could have as much as they wanted.
Yeah, sure.
On the lunar surface, only 121 photographs were taken. That's all, with one camera. There were 2 cameras, but they only used one. This doesn't make sense.
No. We
then move on to have a look in more detail at one of the photographs. This is Aldrin coming down the ladder. Look at his right foot. This is an enlargement of the right foot. It is not touching the rung of the top of the ladder.
Well, that you could explain by the weightlessness.
Possibly, except he's not on the moon. There is gravity, so
okay.
He's not weightless.
Okay.
He would be if he was orbiting, but he's not weightless on the moon. So he's moving. And anyway, how many people come down a ladder? Well, they can't see the rungs, because you can't. With your left foot stuck out to one side, your right foot not touching the rung, on a place that if you fell off, you would have serious injury problems. The point about it is that there's a highlight of light on the heel of a boot, which is not generated by reflection off the surface of the moon, because it's all shadow behind him. He's all in shadow here. He's not blurred on the foot. It appears to be an electronic flash that has taken this photograph.
Okay.
They didn't have any electronic flash on the moon.
No.
They didn't take any. Again, when he reaches the bottom, there's another highlight of light on the heel, which is produced by an electronic flash. These photographs were not taken on the lunar surface. Now, if anybody can prove that wrong,
just one. Oh, that's impossible. What can that be then? Just a moment. I'm sorry for the... Here so too. I will shut all my windows here on my computer. I hope it will be better now. Is it gone? Well, I don't know where it comes from. I'm very sorry. Alright. So, there was some background American news being heard, but...
They're listening in.
Yeah, exactly. Big Brother is doing his job again. Well, it's not coming from my computer. I've got no windows open, so... But,
okay.
Go on, please.
Okay, so we've got images here. These are photographs which have gone around the world for 40 years to... issued by NASA to say, yeah, we landed on the moon, here is the evidence. Because if you ask NASA, they will say, the evidence is in the photographs. A very dangerous statement to make that, because a lot of people have examined these photographs and have reached a similar conclusion to me.
Yeah.
Especially professional photographers.
Yeah.
That is the key. It's not... These are professional photographers, people who are used to using the equipment, used to getting results using the equipment. And they'll also, one thing, they say, if you're going to, under those conditions, place you've never been to before, bracket the exposure. Make sure you get at least one picture out of 5, right?
Yeah, right.
Take lots of pictures, because you never know. I know maybe you chop somebody's head off. You know, you're not using a viewfinder as well. That makes it even worse. Well, you've got to take lots and lots of pictures.
Yeah, sure.
You don't want to chop people's heads off. You want to make sure that you get the right picture, because you can't go back and take them again.
No.
Except if they didn't go in the first place, and they had taken them many times on the simulation exercises, they could choose the good ones from that.
Yeah, sure.
That's a possibility.
Okay, and just I remember I've seen photographs of this thing, as this theory as well, by which they started to try to argue that it was all fake, and according to some of these photographs, and I've seen them, there were let's say rocks being put, or they were there, they were visible.